tremendous job in there. He did what he had to do. Yeah, Canelo a big dude, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I believe in my abilities. He's a heavy dude, but he's not a big guy. Like he's 5'8", I'm 5'8", you know what I mean? My arm's longer than his, you know. That fight it'd be good. You won't get hit in the fight. You know, that's one thing we all know. And I believe in my abilities and I believe in myself that I can handle anything that any fighter.
There are still 6 months left before their showdown. Yet Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have already begun stirring things up ahead of their super fight in September. The two met with Turki Alalshikh earlier today, but the meeting quickly turned into something far from its original purpose.
Canelo in Riyadh in May, the big fight.
Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford clashed, nearly sparking a brawl, one that even Turki Alalshikh wouldn't have been able to stop. Their meeting with him in Saudi Arabia was meant to finalize details of their mega matchup. However, the fighters crossed paths at the airport before heading to Turkey's residence.
His Excellency didn't seem as into this in the past, and now last night seems very on board making this happen. What changed on his end?
I don't know. You have to ask him. You know, I think it's a very intriguing fight. You know, Canelo and me is the same height. I got longer reach than Canelo. I'm faster than Canelo. But Canelo is bigger than me. He's stronger than me. So we both giving away something, but we both gaining something at the same time.
Both fighters' teams expected them to maintain mutual respect, as there had never been any true hostility. Even while calling each other out and hyping the fight, they had always shown courtesy. However, things took a turn when Terence Crawford approached Canelo Alvarez at the airport to exchange pleasantries, but Canelo seemingly ignored him.
So no make sense when you guys say that right now. At the end of the day, I don't want to have credit to face Crawford, but you never know. You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So it's possible. Why not?
Brings at me or throw at me. You know, I gotta be able to believe in myself if I'm gonna get in the ring with you. I can't go in the ring thinking, oh man, if this guy hit me, he's gonna knock me out, or if this guy hit me, he's gonna break my ribs. So now, you know, if he was talking about Deontay Wilder or something, like,
Just
man, that dude.
Crawford attempted once more, but Canelo almost physically lashed out at him. Frustrated, Crawford lost his temper, and the two began exchanging heated words, ready to fight dirty. Naturally, neither fighter was alone. Their teams quickly intervened to separate them. Airport authorities also stepped in to prevent a full-blown fight before the official one in September. Eventually, they traveled separately to Turki Alalshikh's residence, where the Saudi boxing mogul reportedly helped ease the tension. A photo of all three, Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, and Turki Alalshikh, was later shared on Turkey's social media page.
History of boxing. In September, then 2 more fights in 26. Don't miss with the line.
The boxing world needed a historic fight to bring excitement this year, and with Turki Alalshikh's involvement, the timing couldn't be better. Canelo Alvarez, along with the former undisputed champion from Omaha, Nebraska, has had multiple meetings with the Saudi boxing mogul. But beyond those meetings, their rivalry has now intensified following their heated confrontation.
Oh, well, it ain't really no message, you know. It's all respect over here, you know, and if, you know, he do decide to come our way and me and him get in the ring, then it'll be an electrifying fight, you know. It won't be like any other fight that he's fought recently, and it'd be a well-fought fight for both of us, I believe.
Any doubt in your mind that you beat him?
Of course I beat him. It ain't no doubt in my mind that I won't beat anybody that
For a fight expected to be the match of the year, fans crave as much drama and intensity as possible. Well, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez know exactly how to deliver. And they are doing just that. Turki Alalshikh has been leading negotiations between both fighters' camps as he works to finalize one of the biggest boxing events in history. Canelo was initially hesitant to take on a fight against the 37-year-old from Omaha, but it seems the Mexican icon has had a change of heart and is now preparing for the challenge. It is believed that Turki Alalshikh worked behind the scenes and enticed Canelo Alvarez with a massive purse to convince him to accept such a high-stakes bout. Despite having a match scheduled in May, where he plans to fight William Skull during the Cinco de Mayo weekend, it's his showdown with Terence Crawford that continues to dominate the headlines.
Para este imbécil intento de gente que tengo aquí a mi izquierda, que no se le olvide que yo ya vine siendo el Canelo a Estados Unidos y que solamente lucró con mi nombre. Nunca perdí un solo centavo, sino nomás ganó dinero. ¿Ya le pagaste a Golovkin lo que le quería robar? ¿Sí? Muy bien.
Speaking about the fight in an interview. With a leading boxing platform, the 34-year-old expressed his readiness for the clash with Bud, stating, "I won't get any credit at the end of the day. I won't be recognized for facing Crawford, but you never know. You never know in boxing. I go up and down in weight and fight everyone out there, so it's possible. Why not? It's possible." He then added, "I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter. I've always said that." No disrespect to him, but sometimes it's crazy how people talk about a smaller fighter like Charlo, who is big, and then turn around and ask if I'm going to fight Crawford, a 147-pound fighter who is smaller than Charlo. It makes no sense. It makes no sense, but you guys bring it up. This echoed a previous interview where he stated, "I'm in. Why not? I think Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. Easy money. If the money is right, I'm in, because honestly, I don't like fighting guys like Crawford since he moves around a lot, and the fight isn't that exciting. I saw Crawford in his last fight, and he doesn't move as much now, so, yeah. If the money is right, I'm in."
Hopefully once you guys get in there.
I don't know. I just think, his punch power and his physical size is the only thing that I really...
It's been a different story, as he has been pursuing a fight against Canelo Alvarez ever since his victory over Errol Spence in the 147-pound welterweight division, which made him the undisputed welterweight champion. I've been wanting this fight. It's a legacy fight. It's the biggest fight in boxing right now. I see this as the last of the Mohicans. I think the fight would be huge. You have two top 3 pound-for-pound fighters going head-to-head. I know Canelo is bigger than me, but I'm up for the challenge. It's all respect. And if he decides to step into the ring with me, it's going to be an electrifying fight.
Only thing that I really have to worry about. But who knows? Once we get in the ring, we don't know how I'll handle his punching power, his size. I've been fighting bigger guys my whole life, so I'm pretty familiar with that aspect of the game.
As he gears up for the fight in 6 months, the former undisputed champion from Omaha, Nebraska, acknowledges the challenges ahead. He admitted that he will need to be mindful of Canelo's size and power, but he also emphasized his confidence in his skills and the strategies he plans to use on fight night. Interestingly, Terence Crawford isn't just familiar with fighting bigger opponents. He's also accustomed to beating them, holding an undefeated record of 41-0. "I've been fighting bigger guys my whole life," he said, assuring that he would walk away victorious. "Of course I'll beat him," the 41-0 star declared. "There's no doubt in my mind that I..."
Comment. Your reaction to that. And that seems like you do want this fight now.
Well, I've been wanting to fight, I feel as if that's a legacy fight. I feel as if, this is the biggest fight in boxing.
What makes a potential Canelo-Crawford fight particularly significant is that both fighters' Hall of Fame-worthy careers are likely approaching their final chapters. The 34-year-old Canelo has been fighting professionally for nearly 20 years, compiling an impressive record of 62-2. Some of those fights, especially his 2 controversial battles with Gennady Golovkin, have undoubtedly taken a toll. As for Crawford, at 37 years old, he isn't getting any younger. With a total of 41 fights under his belt, it's remarkable that he has never suffered a defeat in the ring. From a certain perspective, a Canelo-Crawford showdown makes a lot of sense, as both fighters have few.
This fight right here is like the last of the Mohicans. You know, we both come in an era where Floyd Mayweather was #1 pound for pound, Showtime, and HBO era, that type of era. So,
both fighters know what it means to be an undisputed champion in an era where such titles are rare. They also know the pressure of performing under the brightest lights. Canelo has been part of multiple high-profile super fights against Gennady Golovkin and Floyd Mayweather, while Crawford finally experienced his first true super fight when he dominated fellow welterweight champion Errol Spence in a one-sided 9-round contest. Crawford, who last competed at super welterweight, would need to move up 2 full weight classes to challenge super middleweight King Canelo in what would be one of...
Respect Crawford, he's a great fighter, and I always say that, no disrespect him, but sometimes he's
Alvarez lost his undisputed status at 168 lbs when the International Boxing Federation, IBF, stripped him of his title, which was later claimed by little-known Cuban fighter William Skull. Before he faces Terence Crawford in September, he assured Turki Alalshikh during his press conference with William Skull that he intends to reclaim the IBF belt. The objective is clear. Turki Alalshikh wants to ensure that Canelo Alvarez's fight against Terence Crawford is for the undisputed super middleweight championship, meaning Canelo must first regain the title from...
A small fighter like Charlo, he's big, which he is big, and everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford, fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo.
As the fight approaches, Terence "Bud" Crawford is fully aware of the physical disadvantage he will face against Canelo, recognizing that size will be a major factor in their matchup. However, he remains confident in his ability to overcome the challenge and impose his boxing style. Many boxing analysts have expressed doubt about Crawford's chances of performing effectively at super middleweight. This skepticism partially stems from his last bout, a points victory over Israel Madrimov.
I've seen that. Everybody that believes in hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was gonna beat Spence. It's real simple. You just gotta know boxing in order for you to be able to say it.
Despite concerns, the potential bout between Canelo and Crawford has captured the imagination of boxing fans. The mix of power, speed, technique, and charisma from both fighters promises an unforgettable spectacle. Canelo Alvarez has maintained a tradition of fighting twice a year, once in May and again in September, aligning with Mexico's Independence Day celebrations. Since 2022, he has followed this schedule, and 2025 will be no different. Meanwhile, Crawford has opted not to take any fights until September when he faces Alvarez. Many consider this a risky decision, recalling how a similar approach backfired on Errol Spence against Crawford. Before their bout, Crawford had taken a tune-up fight, and as seen, the fighter with less recent activity ended up taking the most damage.
With now, or are we still waiting for that second fight to happen? I don't know, man. I don't know. They still gotta work things out and see where they go from there. I know it's Tim Zoo's name just floated around out there as an opponent. What do you think about let's do? Butterstock, yeah, Butterstock. Zoo think that they can get a shot at Bud after with the belt not even being.
The super welterweight division is 2 weight classes below that of the Guadalajara native. However, both Crawford and Turki Alalshikh successfully persuaded Alvarez to accept the fight, for which he was demanding $150 million. Even though some view a matchup with Terence Crawford as questionable from a sporting perspective, Canelo Alvarez is not underestimating him. Crawford's boxing skills remain exceptional, keeping him undefeated even after 41 fights. Trainer: Robert Garcia weighed in on Canelo's advantage and Crawford's overall abilities. Benavidez, when he calls out Canelo, knows that Crawford is a smart fighter. He has already achieved everything he wanted, Garcia told Fight Hype. He's done it all. He doesn't need to challenge himself further. I've spoken to him personally, and I get the sense that he wants that big fight with Canelo. If he doesn't get it, he may never fight again. Garcia also pointed out that Crawford has other options at junior middleweight if he decides to pursue championship fights there. The most attractive opponent would be WBC and WBO champion Sebastian Fundora, but he could also face IBF champion Bakram Murtazaliev. Other potential matchups include Jermell Charlo, Virgil Ortiz Jr., Serhii Bohachuk, and Xander Zayas. Crawford no longer needs to seek another fight. With his incredible career and undefeated record, there's nothing left to prove. He's already accomplished it all. I don't see him fighting just to
He's not gonna pitch out.
You don't think he could go all 12?
He won't pitch out.
He will. He'll do
He'll
better.
put up some good rounds. Get knocked out, but he'll put up some good rounds. And that's better than what Charlo did.
Hey, because he'll fight. He'll fight.
Yeah,
but-
exactly. He'll fight.
Pero,
No.
However, in Robert Garcia's view, Crawford no longer needs to seek another fight. With his incredible career and undefeated record, there's nothing left to prove. He's already accomplished it all. I don't see him fighting just to satisfy fans demanding certain matchups, Garcia explained. He emphasized that if money were the motivation, Crawford wouldn't need to fight again, as he has managed his wealth wisely and secured investments. The only reason for him to step into the ring again would be to face Canelo and end his career on a high note. He's just looking for that big fight, then he'll enjoy his life. The man is smart. He's invested his money well. He doesn't need another fight, but he still wants that challenge with Canelo. If he gets it, he'll take it. If not, he may never fight again, Garcia added. He further acknowledged Crawford's skills, saying, I'm not saying he doesn't. Hit hard. I know he does. And he has a solid chin. Has he ever really been dropped? Maybe once, but that was a fluke. I think Crawford can make it competitive for the first 6 to 8 rounds. He has speed, power, and enough ability to earn Canelo's respect. But eventually, Canelo is just too big, too strong. Still, those first
See, Roger says that Canelo hits just a slight less heavy-handed than Caballo.
Wow.
You think Caballo's stronger?
I think Caballo's heavier handed. I think
Yeah.
Canelo's stronger, but I think Caballo, there's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference between powers and stuff.
Right.
Caballo is heavier handed. Like when he'll jab into the body.
Okay, to be fair, Caballo weighed 220 pounds when he fought him.
Mikey Garcia, however, has a different perspective. Speaking to Fight Hub TV, he recalled crossing paths with Crawford at the WBC convention in Hamburg, Germany last December, where he praised Crawford's achievements. Crawford is one of the best fighters I've ever seen, Garcia stated. Boxing has politics and favoritism, but Crawford truly has the skills. He's a great fighter and has proven it time and time again. However, Garcia questioned how Crawford, who started his career at lightweight, would handle Alvarez at 168, where Canelo has unified the division and remains undefeated. At super middleweight, Canelo has fought top-tier opponents like Gennady Golovkin, Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, Jermell Charlo, and Jamie Munguia, making him the most experienced fighter in the weight class. So where do you plan to fight? 164, 165, 166, Garcia asked. He's not coming down to 160.
Too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo is, fighting at 168.
66, Garcia asked. Interview 19. He's not coming down to 160, maybe 166 at most if he accepts. I think Canelo wins this fight based on size alone, his power and frame. Now, in terms of skill, Crawford is the better fighter, but the size difference will be the deciding factor. That's why I don't even like this matchup, Garcia stated. At 37 years old, Crawford has already accomplished everything in 4 weight divisions, ranging from 135 to 154. He acknowledges the financial incentive of a fight with Canelo, but Garcia suggested that both fighters should consider alternative paths rather than facing each other.
I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size, the power and size. Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skilled fighter, but the difference in size will be the deciding factor, and that's why I'm not even a fan of that fight.
I'd rather see Canelo move up and fight someone like Artur Beterbiev or Dmitry Bivol again, Garcia said. If he truly wants to challenge himself, he should move up to 175 and test himself against those guys, not fight a smaller opponent moving up. And the same goes for Crawford. He doesn't need to fight Canelo. He could stay at 154 and fight other top contenders. And that wraps things up. For the latest updates on boxing news, key moments, events, and action, stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss top quality content. Until next time, peace out.